Well, good morning and welcome back to the Money Advantage podcast. I am Rachel Marshall, and I am very pleased to bring to the conversation today two of my very favorite people. This is Darren and Buffy Ruthardt. And I'm just so glad to have you guys join the conversation and be able to talk about what your experience has been working with us through the Seven Generations Legacy Coaching Program and just all of the amazing fruit that has happened in your life as a result of working together. So thank you so much for joining me today on this conversation.
Thank you, Rachel. We're
Yes,
really
thank you.
honored. We are so honored to be here. It's, we overcome by the blood of the Lamb and the word of our testimony and not loving our lives to death, unto death. So, this is our testimony, part of it, because it would probably we'd unpack 4 or 5 hours worth of experience and, great conversation or more.
Absolutely. I
Like,
know. I know.
so
I've loved all our conversations together. So, for the purpose of this conversation today, we just want to share and highlight and celebrate what you have accomplished. So, I would love to know first if you guys can just share a little bit about what you were looking for when you first came to find us at Seven Generations Legacy and the Money Advantage, when you found that Facebook ad and you bought the book and then you said, this is something we really want to pursue. What would you say you guys were really looking for at that point?
mm,
Mm, I would,
God
I,
heard our
yeah,
cries.
I would
Maybe I
say
should.
we were looking for a vehicle
Yeah.
to move us to that next step because we really didn't know all the ins and outs and the
Mhm.
direction of how everything operated and worked. I
Mhm.
mean, business wise, we could do it,
Sure.
but putting it all together in a plan that made sense, I think,
Mhm.
was the biggest thing.
Mhm. And
Mm,
I think also that aligned with our faith. You can have a whole lot of things that give you direction and foresight, right? Hindsight. I mean, you can get a lot of wisdom from other things, but we were looking for something that would include our faith into that next generation. And the Lord had laid on our hearts to for our children to live in their inheritance while we were still alive. And that started this whole process for us to go, okay, what does that look like? What does that mean? And it was almost a year before we were driving down the road and heard the Facebook ad for Seven Generations Legacy. And I was like, we've got to do this. I have some questions about Facebook ads, obviously, right? And what you buy on them. This was a good
sure.
one. So it was awesome. And what happened is that he had given us this direction, and yet we had no tracks to run on. We did not know how to do it. We didn't know what that
Mm,
looked like. We also had needed work on all of our entity structure for decades, 2 decades,
hmm
and did not have the right person to work with on that. And so it just really brought about for us, it brought about this clarity, and it also gave us vision. I think people perish, right? For a lack of vision, a lack of
hmm
knowledge. And that's how we felt. We were kind of perishing in this place because we're like,
Mm.
we have these things, we have this abundance and blessing in our lives, but we didn't want to just turn it over to our children and not teach them how to utilize it, how to care for it and steward it. And so we were kind of stuck, and we're in this place of having direction, but we didn't know where to go. And so Seven Generations Legacy gave us that direction and gave us a really great system to work through it all: support, care, concern, laughs, tears,
Answers.
answers, yeah, solutions,
Yeah.
wisdom, knowledge, understanding, brought to us by people who were doing the work.
mm.
You and Lucas, you live it to lead it, right? You did the work, you did the hard work. You were almost like our generation before us that that paved the way for us. And so, but it was really great, and we learned how to have family meetings. I think that's one of my favorite things out of all of it. Yeah, we got everything in order, but now we're getting our family all moving in the same direction. And
Mm,
that's
Mm.
priceless. The world snares at you, tells you other things, and especially for them to be so much younger than us, you know, they're caught in the middle of all that. And so it's great. We got to kind of roll up our sleeves. We love to work. We got to roll up our sleeves and go to work.
Mhm. Yeah, because there's so
you
many
guys
things
are,
to grab your time.
Yeah.
oh,
and
yes.
and there's so many things out there that are just grabbing and looking and watching. And so if you don't take time to do it,
Yeah.
that's the thing. So it made us jump back and sit down and take the time to have the effort to have those meetings and to sit down and put it to action.
Yeah. And
Well,
Darren's
you guys
motto
were
is, if you don't, you won't.
Yeah.
And so
so awesome.
it's so good. But yes,
You guys
so
did the work. I mean, what I love about you guys is that you not only came in with this huge heart to say, how do I bless my family tangibly, not just guess at figuring out how to do this inheritance thing well, but you said, we're willing to do whatever it takes to make this plan be set up correctly in a way that gives us peace of mind. And you guys have been trying and working on that for a while and trying different things and not having that work and feeling like it was this like incomplete state of not having that closure that you really needed. And I mean, I just want to thank you for trusting us to be that guide to lead you. And you guys did the work. You said, yes, we'll do everything that it takes. And you carved out the time. You really, really put in the work. And you guys are seeing the fruit of that in your lives.
yes, there is a lot of fruit. I mean, again, not enough time to talk about all of it today, but just the fruit of feeling the obedience of doing what God told us to do. That there is it, the obedience is ours. The results are his, right?
Mhm.
And you have to have the faith to trust that. And we knew, like I said, he'd given this direction, and we were like, but we don't know where to go. And so having 7 generations legacy, first of all, the mindset. It was something, it's like when you hear truth and truth resonates, right? And you say this out loud, you say, that is so true. And yet you may have not even heard the statement before, but immediately it resonates with you. And that was one thing that really was true for us, is that everything we read, every video we watched, every step that we were taking to build this structure. And not only that, but the people that you've put around you, or that God has put around you to be your team, that you've so graciously shared with us. They support and love and care and give guidance. And so it was just like, wow, yes, this is true. This is true. And then we realized that with no condemnation or guilt or anything to where we were before, right? Or even where our families were before. But we were like, wow, we had this new sense of urgency to put this into place. I mean, even though both of us plan on 150 years, right? I mean, because God's not the author of death. And so we can choose how long we want to live and how fruitful we want to be based on what we focus on and what we do. And so we were like, all right, even though we don't plan on needing any of this to kick into place, because our children will get old enough to be the board, to be the trustees, and to really steward this well, there's going to be generations to come, and we've got to create something. And so it was, when I say perfect, I don't love that word, because nothing's perfect, right? It was just perfect for us at the time. It was for such a time as this, for our lives. And um, you know, faithful in the little things, right? Means that we can be given more. And so we are like, bring it on, right? Now we have we have train cars to load everything in. We've got tracks to run on. We have a system that can actually handle more abundance. And I think that's really important, because we want to be good stewards of what he's given us, but we didn't really know how to do it. So it's awesome.
I love that you guys came from a position of saying, we've created a lot within our lifetime, but we want to figure out how to ensure that we engage our children and help them understand not only what we've done, but how to carry that on and use that to bless future generations. And you guys just accepted that responsibility, that weight very well. And I would love, as much as you guys would love to share about what it is, the work that you guys are doing, and as somebody would want to connect with you or be able to reach out and find out more about what you are personally doing, I'd love to hear as much as you guys would like to share about your work and the thing that God has placed on your heart to continue doing.
Yeah, it's really awesome. I could talk about this for a long time.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, this is the vision that he's given us, is that he has provided many things for us, many tools, solutions, and
People.
it's spirit, soul,
Mhm.
and body, right? It's it is not only from a faithful aspect, um, it is also mind, will, and emotions, your soul. It is also your body and how to take care of that as well. So we didn't just start generations for wealth transfer and culture transfer. We're starting generations of health transfer. And that was one of the really neat things that came out of our family, our first family summit, was that the Lord just showed us that one of the best ways we could invest with what he's given us is to provide ways for our family to be healthy. And so that's really exciting because we all set health goals and things we wanted to work on. And so we're doing that together. And by the way, our kids are in their 30s. So they're to that place where they're ready. So what we've decided to do is be a voice. And this is what the Lord has shown us. It kind of looks like an hourglass where we are the voice and we share the message of all the good things that He's brought to us. And as people hear that and they say, "Wow, what is this? I've been praying for this. I've been looking for this." Then
Yes.
we can connect them. He's making us connectors, but we can connect them to the right people for the right time, and the right things that they are wanting to work on. So we know part of our process is going to be a podcast that we're going to start. It's not there yet, so just
Oh, I'm so excited for you
some
guys.
accountability, right?
Yes.
And it's going to be called Roadmap to Renewal. And so
Awesome.
that roadmap will be for marriage, for family, for health, for finances,
Finances,
for
business.
generational planning, right? Just like we've learned. And of course, we're going to send them to you, the experts of seven generation legacy. And we're excited because again, I love the word says, his word is a lamp unto our feet and a light unto our
Absolutely.
path, right? So if we
Mhm.
don't follow the lamp to the feet first, we can't ever have the light for our path. And so we're just taking one step at a time, is what I mean by that.
Mm.
One
It
step
is
at a time.
so good. It's so
It's
good to be able to
exciting.
trust that the Lord is working in and through your life as an overflow of what He has given you and the grace that He's given you. And I just love that not only are you guys doing work in a way that you're creating the financial capital, but you're also in a position of then being able to help your children understand how to steward that capital and be also gaining more than just the financial component, but the meaning behind it. And you're
Yes.
creating this legacy, as you're talking about here, this idea of stewardship of your mind, your body, your spirit, everything about who you are. You're helping them to gain traction in that stewardship. And
Absolutely.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
say amen.
Well, and the biggest thing, if you don't have your health and you don't feel good, I don't care what you're doing or what you want
Or
to
what
do
wealth you have.
or what
Right.
wealth you have or anything, you're not even thinking about it because you can't even feel good. And
Mhm.
mhm.
so, you kind of got to get to the root of the problem to take care of the issues. And that's what we're looking at doing,
Yeah.
spirit, soul, and body.
Yes.
So,
Yeah.
so
That
with
is
you
awesome.
guys, I mean, what's great is that, I don't want to say you held our hands because that seems like you did all the work,
That's your
but you were always there, always ready to answer. And the greatest thing is you never condemned or condoned anything that wasn't good, but you were always positive, you and Lucas, and direct us in a positive way. And really took the time to be on our schedule and not like you got to get this done, you got to get this done. So it was awesome doing that. It made you want to work harder,
Yeah.
like and get a good grade from you guys. Like I want an A. I'm step up to
That's
the
awesome.
plate.
We want
So,
to do a good
Yeah.
job.
for somebody who might not fully understand this, can you just speak briefly to the idea that there's three pillars within the work that you did? There's the meaning, the mechanism, the money component. And
Mhm.
so you did a lot of work in the meaning with
Yes.
drafting your family guidance system and then putting together a memorandum of trust and writing love letters and looking at your culture. And then
Yeah.
you did the legal work as well. And you don't have to go into detail about structure and everything like that, but can you just kind of give an idea of what you feel as a result of the clarity that you have maybe in some of those areas that you didn't have before.
I would tell everyone, picture your favorite place to be in the world, right? That's what we feel now. It's like I'm on the beach every day in my mind around all of this. And the meaning was really important. And we realized when we were working on the meaning, we didn't even realize prior to working on it that God had already put all that structure in place. And so we were in a time of our life where we were realizing all the things he had already done, right? The ways he had already worked and the things he had already put in our hearts. And our belief, right, is that you cannot be transformed without renewing your mind in the word. We just didn't realize how transformed we'd really been until we started looking at the meaning for our family and our culture and values. And we were like, he's already done this for us, right? This is so awesome.
And
So
then you wrote it down and it made it even more real, right? But it was already inside of you.
Habakkuk
Yes.
said, write it down, make it plain. And so we did,
Yes.
wrote it down. And then the mechanism was where we had meaning, but again, we didn't, what do we do with it? And so the mechanism was probably for us and our personalities and the organization that we like to have and things.
Favorite part
It
was the
was
mechanisms.
Yes,
Yeah.
it was order. It was getting things in
Structure.
order. We felt like our house is in order. And that is peace. Boy, that brings the fruit of the spirit can really flow really well when that valve is opened, right? And your house is in order. So we have a lot more of that. There's not, I feel like we had some, we call it intense fellowships at times, intense conversations about
And that's normal, right?
Yes, that's healthy. That's healthy. Um, but no name calling, no hysterical or historical, right? We try to follow some guidelines in that. But we were struggling because again, it's like at Matt, you have all these things inside of you and you do not have anywhere to deposit them, to give them or where to go. And no, I'll just be honest for everyone out there. Our kids were not exactly on track, like with faith and business and, the way that we think and the way that that God has raised us up to be. And so this is an incredible tool to bring them into that and to explain, have some really great conversations around it and to kind of give them a look into our heart that they've never had. Right. And so that is awesome. We really love that. So the mechanism was really an important part. We restructured all of our entities, created a really updated, new, powerful, wonderful trust and wills. And man, I could show you the book of what we've got. I mean, who you instructed us to work with was so empowering, perfect fit for us. I mean, perfect fit. And we've shared and given his name out and his firm out to other people because just like we have for you, because it was answers and it was tools. And so
it was really exciting for me to watch that come together for you because I think
I bet
what you're talking about is you needed the right mindset to take what was already inside of you and put it down on paper in a way that you could give it to your children. And you were in a unique position of not having young toddlers in the home, that you have a lot of that formative years and time with them. You were communicating what was important to you to adult children who are living their own lives now, but you're wanting to deposit in them the things that can help this legacy continue to bless them and their children and their children. But that's the mindset piece and maybe the soft structures around creating your legacy plan. But you needed to match that up with a legal structure that did the heavy lifting, that put all of what you wanted to happen in place. And they had to work together effortlessly. And I think a lot of people just look at the money and they just look at saying, oh, let me just make a lot in my business. Let me just make sure that there's funding available. But if you don't have the right meaning that you're conveying and you don't have that mechanism to ensure that it's carried through the generations, you don't end up you have a dead end rather than this continuous legacy.
The mechanism is, again, it's like the valve, right? It's to the meaning and the money can't really fit together without that mechanism in the middle. And, you know, I think one thing I would say about that what really became true for us through this is that we realized, and if this is any of you out here, this is your tool. This is the thing that will take you from where you are to where you want to go, is 7 Generations Legacy, working with Rachel and Lucas to put this into place. It is invaluable. And so what we realized is that we weren't talking to our kids the same way any longer. And that was that was
through a different lens, you know.
Yeah, that lens,
because you guys really brought the 30,000-foot view of what it looked like, where we were still in this view from Earth, you know.
because
So
society kind of teaches, right?
yeah,
That there is you're with your children, and then there's a separation from them because they go to college and they adult and they do their own things and they kind of gather their own opinions and views of things. But what we realize is that societal norm, I guess you could say, had really kind of cut off the influence that we used to have with our children, and
Well, the
they
way,
desire it, they want it. We just didn't
Yes.
realize it any longer. So this gave us, it brought up conversation, it brought up things that, you know, and we told them in our family summit, you gave us great advice. You were like, this might seem strange at first, right? But then by the end of that day, nobody wanted our time to be up. Everyone was sharing freely.
So
It
good.
was beautiful. I wish I'd recorded it all just for myself, you know?
Yes.
So
Oh my
good.
goodness. That's awesome. So what I love is that you guys are just really empowered to be able to look at this generational family as this line that
Mhm.
you are in a position of being able to bless. And you guys
Yes.
are putting the tools and the complete plan in place to be able to do that well. So we have to
Yes.
wrap up our conversation here, and I would love to talk for more hours about this. But two things. If you're listening and you want what Darren and Buffy have, that peace of mind, that excitement about being able to communicate to your kids, go ahead and just find out more information. You can go to 7generationslegacy.com. Everything is there. You can also go to themoneyadvantage.com. Everything is there as well. And this is the book they're talking about, 7 Generations Legacy. So that being said, where can people find you if they're saying, oh, I really want to hear more about that health stuff. I want to hear more about what you guys are doing so that can benefit my life. How can they find Darren and Buffy?
So for right now, the best direction I can give them is go to my Instagram or Facebook account. And Instagram is buffy.ruthardt and Facebook is Buffy Ruthardt. And we'll make announcements from there. I'm in the middle of creating an email list that they can opt into, and we can keep everybody informed. So thank you for this opportunity, Rachel.
yes, thank you, Rachel.
We love you, and
And tell
Lucas.
Lucas thank you.
Yeah, we love you and so grateful for you. Our vitamin G overflows for you.
That's gratitude for anyone who
That's
doesn't
right.
know.
Yeah, for anyone who
And
doesn't know, you can go look it up, but it's gratitude.
my gratitude overflows for you guys. I'm so excited for not only what has happened as a result in your life, but also what you are having the capacity and ability to create for generations to come. It's so beautiful. And it's so amazing to be able to inspire other people who want to do exactly what you've done and
Yes.
don't have the map yet.
Yes, because no one
Thank
that
you.
we've talked to about this had any idea. And that really, that spurred something in our hearts. Like, we need to get this message out there, right? This is a message the world needs. So thank you for
Yeah, thank
being the
you.
messenger. We appreciate it.
Well, thank you for trusting us. And just, I am so excited for what's happening in your family for generations to come.
Us
So,
too. Thank you.
so with that, please remember success leaves clues. So model